Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. I regret to report that both our Jedi Order and the Republic have fallen, with the dark shadow of the Empire rising to take their place. This message is a warning and a reminder for any surviving Jedi. Trust in the Force.
They've outgrown their age of rebellion, dulled the Empire's edge, defeated Imperial generals and the Pirate Queen's dredge. They've been soldiers and scoundrels, what's there left to be? How about lost acolytes looking for their force and destiny? There's a seer, hermit, investigator, and teacher. Better watch your back or a vibe or ring's gonna reach you. Will this team find the light or will darkness win the day? Find out with the heroes of the Hydian Way.
Previously on Heroes of the Hydian Way, 4 travelers became heroes and learners while in pursuit of a Jedi holocron. They also learned that they were not alone. Other beings pursued the prize for a darker purpose. The Imperial Inquisitor Carl and his hired help, a deadly bounty hunter. After a nearly terminal encounter with their opponents, Khesh, Koba, Skipp, and Ghillary fled the fight only to find the Force had other plans for them. It transported them across the galaxy to an old Jedi stronghold deep below the seas of Dak. With the company of some lingering droids, the group has settled in. But to what end? Find out more this week as they're awake and functional-ish.
Welcome to Heroes of the Hydian Way. This is a Star Wars actual play podcast, and we're playing in Fantasy Flight Games' Force and Destiny system, inspired by the Chronicles of Gatekeeper adventure as developed by Tim Cox and Max Brook. This is Act 3, Episode 3, and I'm Ben, the GM for this adventure.
I'm Khesh, the Trandoshan Mystic Seer.
I'm Koba, the Doug Sentinel Investigator.
Oh, I'm third. I've never been third. I don't know what I'm doing. Hi, I'm Skipp, the Kalaran Seeker Hermit. Usually there's a lot more words involved in these things, so I'm just gonna trail off in hopes that
I'm Ghillary.
What I'm doing.
Picking up what you're putting down when you put it down, finally.
It's down.
Are you good?
Yep.
You good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I am Ghillary. I am the Alina Sage Teacher something.
What's the something?
That's the problem. I don't really know.
Is it a secret?
To even me.
Wow.
Ooh. Maybe this is all just a dream.
So it's like something that you knew before, but then you were like hypnotized or something so that you don't know it anymore, so you're like a sleeper agent.
I did know a Chevin hypnotist at one point in my life, so perhaps.
Wow.
To learn more about our heroes, we get one to ask another a question, and now it is Koba's turn.
Hey, Skip.
Mm-hmm?
What did I miss?
Oh my gosh. Well, Khesh got a little electrocuted. I did my best.
To electrocute Khesh?
No, to help Khesh not get even more electrocuted than, she already was. It was a lot.
It sounds like a lot.
I did some neat things with the water, though. You were mostly sleeping. Ghillary, wow, I was really tired. I don't remember all that well.
I was unconscious for it, but it sounded...
I promise you it looked real neat.
Vaguely impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Was anybody conscious for anything?
Yeah, that's kind of the way things seem to shake out, is I do something really neat, but everyone is not looking or is unconscious.
To be fair, I feel like a good portion of it was kind of upkeep to keep this place, that we're not sure where it is, but we're kind of sure where it is.
It's on Dak.
From killing us all by flooding and electrocuting and general poor maintenance because it's been largely abandoned, but for a handful of droids. Oh, and we all got a little patched up or took naps.
Great, this is going to end well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Speaking of which, our destiny pool for this session consists of 3 light side points and 2 dark side points.
If I remember right, Ghillary is actually off on a catwalk somewhere.
Yes, he's off being dramatic and alone.
Yes. 3 of the 4 heroes are in the infirmary, which is for this bottom of the ocean station. It's a small subsection of a very large room that has the galley, the infirmary. It looks to be where the unstructured time of this facility is played out. There's quite a few things here. There's like a hutball arena off to a side, somewhat scaled down, but definitely there. A wall for climbing that goes up to the top of the dome that you're in. You can see the actual dome. At the moment, the lights are still in emergency mode, so it's mostly like track lighting along the floor. In the infirmary, it's a lot better because, well, you need light to actually see everything. But outside of the infirmary, it's pretty dark. The vast darkness with a very, very slight tinge of a dark green in the water above. You can see off to one side the very top of a turning windmill. The camera turns from looking out over this expansive empty area, turns around into the infirmary where we can see Koba stirring and laying on a bed. We've got Khesh laying next to him, having regenerated into consciousness this morning. Skipp waking up on the couch that's nearby, having passed out there from exerting themselves so much. And standing at the door, you see the somewhat energetic droid who seems to be beaming, even though they have a relative lack of facial movement. They just seem to be so chipper. Oh, goody! You are all awake and functional. That is much relieved. And the power to the life support system has been restored. Thank you so much for your contributions to the station. With having organics here, it is a bit more of a finicky situation. Now that the maintenance is taken care of, Padawans, please do feel free to explore the station. Be careful, on account of the internal sensor system does seem to have several faults with it, and sensor echoes are happening. We cannot be entirely certain of what is where, but the three of you here and your compatriot who is off, I am certain are very well at dealing with unexpected encounters.
Is there anywhere here that we can, kind of clean up a little bit?
Oh, most certainly. If you follow the lights off to your left and follow them towards the doors towards back, there is a complete fresher station. Actually, there are 3 fresher stations down in that direction. If you are wanting to clean up, that should be able to provide everything for your body. We can see if the covering refresher is able to be functional. It has been many years since any of the equipment has been turned on. We are eminently hopeful, but it's hard to say.
Skip's going to kind of look down at what is now a very beat up set of just probably bloody and ripped attire, and stand up and dump the rest of the contents of their bag onto this sitting area that you described, and start cataloging what was lost. As they start putting things back into their bag in a slightly more organized fashion, they leave out a balled up set of sort of tan fabric and then walk away with that to where they were directed to the refreshers.
When Skipp leaves, Khesh is going to look over at the now conscious Koba. Well, how are you doing?
I have a headache and an arm ache and a leg ache and a backache. Not well.
Do you need help getting around, or?
No, I'm fine. You didn't cut off either of my hands.
Kesh's brow crinkles for a moment as she thinks about that from the Doug logistics and then nods. Well, glad you didn't die. And she'll start to slowly get up herself. I don't remember why I left this last time, but I'm going to say for today anyway, her mechanical right arm kind of limp at her side for the moment. If either her force pike was brought back, or if there's something else suitably staff or cane-like in the facility, she'll acquire that. And then she'll start to limp out of the room, heading towards the refreshers in the direction Skipp went.
So the droid got rid of my crit, but was that just stabilizing the wound, or did they have a prosthetic?
That was stabilizing the wound. The medical droid is not in the room at the moment, and presumably they're looking through their spares to see if they have something that is compatible with the dog.
Sure.
The camera then cuts to Ghillary, who's laying down on this catwalk, having slept there overnight. The maintenance droid, it looks kind of like a mouse droid, but with little repulsors instead of the wheels. The little droid is softly running into Ghillary, trying to wake up Ghillary.
Oh, that's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm here. I don't know what you need, but I'll see what I can do. He starts to sit up and then stops, reassesses his surroundings since, catwalk, big fall, gantry, that kind of thing, and then just carefully sits up and pats the droid on the head. What do you need from me, little friend?
It gives out a trail of tones. It doesn't look like it's got a vocoder in it at all. It's talking pretty much like a astromech would.
Now this is what we call a one-way language barrier. I've never been particularly astute in my binary studies. Would you like me to go somewhere?
As you ask that, it then follows along the gantry to the ladder and then repulsors down.
Well, I don't think you rightly needed me to do that. But, okay. He shrugs and kind of putzes along thereafter.
As you're walking, you get a cold chill for a moment. This is slightly familiar for a cold chill. And as you get close to the ladder going down to the entrance to the room, you feel like you're falling for a quarter second and take a stumble forward, bracing yourself. As you look out, you see a red dirt base to an arena with a high onyx throne in the middle of it. And sitting in the throne is a long white-haired human with pretty much a robe that's tied at the waist. Wind is taking his long beard and fluttering it a bit in the wind. Before him, you can see Khesh, looking a lot more energetic than when you last saw Khesh. Mostly on account of when you last saw Khesh, Khesh had just been dragged in by Skipp. Khesh is raising up, getting ready to strike at the old human with a lightsaber pike, kind of like the one that you've seen, except with a purple lightsaber blade. As Khesh is rising up to strike, the old guy calls a lightsaber to his hand and brings it up to block Kesh's strike. And they start getting into a very rapid patois of strike, parry, repose, and back and forth, back and forth.
Can I feel the gantry around me? Like, is it just a vision, or do I feel like I'm there?
You can smell the area, you can feel the very unnatural dryness of the place, but you can still feel the metal grating that you would be standing on.
There's boons to being a team that doesn't wear shoes. Okay, it's a dream, what does Khesh call it? A vision. It's a vision. Okay, so fights. Khesh is fighting. Is this the dude we saw before?
Yes, this is.
Okay, so Khesh is fighting the terrifying old man with the flapping beard. Seems pretty evenly matched. This is not good. But I can't help, because if I step forward, I'm probably going to plummet down a ladder. Okay. Possibly losing my grip on reality. Possibly seeing the future. I'm just gonna stay here for a moment.
As they start to fight, you can see the old human blocking Kesh's lightsaber wide and then shooting a short blast of lightning at her then Khesh beating his lightsaber down closer and closer to his shoulder as he's blocking. The shimmer that you've seen of Kesh's protect encompassing her as he then takes a swipe with his lightsaber, sort of slicing down and causing Khesh to be flung back. He's raising up his lightsaber. It looks very reminiscent of what Koba did in the early part of the fight with Carl, is about to throw the lightsaber at Khesh.
How close am I to this?
You'd be at roughly short range, maybe 10, 15 feet.
That means I'm technically close enough to swipe Kesh's abilities. I would like to take Enhance and leap in between them, because that's a really intelligent thing to do. And I'm feeling very good about this life choice. Not really thinking, just doing.
In that case, I believe you need a force roll.
Gonna need some briefing on how that works, please. Khesh?
So roll your force dice.
Just the dice.
Just the dice. You don't need a skill check.
I'm looking at how many. I think I have 3 now, if not 4. No, I just have 3. I haven't made it to 4 yet.
And this will cost you a maneuver instead of an action, or whatever that's worth.
Okay.
So roll, and if you takes 1 pip to move, jump out to short range. It takes 2, jump out to medium.
So that was 3 whites for 3 white, 2 dark. Ghillary basically appears in between the 2 arms, but that's as far as he's gotten in his plan.
So as you're standing there, like arms up and out, the old man has glowing yellow eyes that seem to be smoking. Little wisps of smoke are going off to the sides of his eyes and then up. He brings down his red lightsaber at Ghillary. I want to get a discipline check. I think it should be a 2 red and a purple discipline check from Ghillary.
I'm sorry, did you say 2 red and a purple?
Yes.
Could be worse.
One of the reds coming from my dark side pool.
Aha. That's 3 success.
I think that's enough for you to essentially be taken out of the vision that was there. And now you're standing about 1 step away from the ladder. You feel a cold slice going from shoulder deeper that then very quickly warms up. There you are, standing after the vision that was there. Behind, you hear a light clapping.
Behind me.
Yes.
On the gantry.
Yes.
Where I was alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be a slow turn with a very suspicious face.
Standing about where you had fallen asleep, about halfway down this catwalk, you can see another Aline standing there. This one, you've experienced force spirits, and this looks like a force spirit or a force projection. The wetness is back. You can feel the grate beneath you. The only thing that seems to be a vision right now is the Aline in front of you. This Aline looks very familiar. In fact, you saw them not too long ago. They're in Aline-sized rebel armor. They don't have the giant hat that rebel troopers seem to have. Standing before you is somehow a force projection of your son, Manchucho. I was not expecting you to jump in front of a lightsaber like that. You have found a family that you care greatly about. It's quite a sight to see.
Ghillary doesn't really know what to say. He looks hurt, though perhaps what was said was not meant that way. And he's very confused because, as far as he knows, nobody else is Forcey. There's is this actually Manchucho? Is this a dream? Is this somebody else pretending to be? He's got no clue what's going on. So he just kind of does that thing where You open and close your mouth a couple of times and talk with your hands without saying anything.
And with that, Manchucho's going to smile, step slowly closer towards Ghillary. Oh, after you had left, I know you were just trying to get us safe, but safe in this galaxy is so hard. While you took the eye of the Empire upon yourself, we found issues on our own. So many things. How? And then I kept on getting these dreams. I saw you doing things. I saw you in a tree. A big tree. If anything, it was inspiring. And these dreams just continued. But I felt that I needed to do something. And felt so sorry that you felt like you needed to run away from us. I mean, the Empire did come. They did ask, and we were able to tell them the truth, that you had gone. Well, at that point, we were an out-of-work acrobatics troupe. No threats, no real reason to arrest us, so they just let us on our way. So what you did worked. But after that, after seeing what the Empire did to drive you away, I just couldn't sit still. I needed to... It sounds so childish in some ways, but I thought if I could help bring down the Empire, I could bring you back. If it was safe enough, you would come back to us. So I joined the rebels. And, well, they took advantage of my skills. Then just yesterday, I could have sworn I saw you. Not you, but a phantom you. And now, I'm here, sleeping, dreaming, telling you the things that I'd wish I had been able to say when you'd still been there. If I wake up and I don't remember this, well, maybe I'll wake up with a little bit of the weight of the galaxy off my shoulders. But, no, I miss you.
Does he look solid?
You can kind of see through him. You know that he's a force vision, but he looks more solid than a holo display. He's force vision-y. I'm not entirely certain how solid he actually is. If you're to hug him or touch him, I figure you'd actually touch.
Yeah, no, it's no words. Just hug. Ghillary just can't. Everything is an apology, or a worry, or a disbelief, or useless waste of a moment he never thought he'd get. So he just bull rushes for a hug.
And Manchucho's there to receive the hug. The two of you slam arms around each other, hugging. You can see the tears in Manchucho's eyes too. That there's more that he'd like to say, but at the moment just emotions are overwhelming.
After I would say a beat, but let's be real. After several minutes or moments, Ghillary kind of pulls back and holds him by the shoulders in that kind of traditional awkward dad way. Just look him in the eye.
Mm-hmm.
The others, they are safe.
Yes, they are. They are off. Last report that I had, they were safe and very close to Alina, where we are going to meet up after all of this. Exactly where, we don't want to know, but...
We always talked about going home.
Yes.
Home, I guess.
These visions I've seen of you have been somewhat concerning. I've been seeing the need within you to try and control what is uncontrollable. But with what I just saw, it's inspiring. You jumping in front of one of those blades, especially to protect a friend like that.
Now, I don't want you to take that as a life lesson. It's good to think things through and plan ahead and not just act, as I've proven many times over. I don't want you doing that. Please.
Not everyone gets a chance to act like that. I'm usually the one who is watching over and making sure that those who do act impulsively can do so another day.
An honorable role in any group.
So it can be. So I guess we have to share you as a dead now. Going off and being dead to other people.
Well, you know me. Everybody's a new member of the family. Maybe you'll get to meet them, properly, not in this spookular vision kind of way, like in person.
I think I would like that.
Yeah. Maybe we can all go to Aline.
Would be nice. All we have to do is overturn this empire so that you are no longer being hunted. And the people I watch over can rest.
Sounds a bit like you've got some of the dad in you as well.
I am your son.
For good or for ill, that does seem to be the case, yes. He's looking at his feet, and it's still holding him. He looked down, just wiggles his toes, kind of in thought, and looks back up, and says, I am sorry for not thinking, but you are my life. And what is, in this very poor metaphor, what is my life in the face of everything else? In the face of you all being my purpose. So, forgive me if you can. If they can. If anyone can.
I forgive you. And I know that we are going to see each other again.
Well,
even if it is in dreams like this.
Apparently we're only one dream away, so maybe I'll see you at nap time.
That would make the pile all the more warm. I think at that point is when it looks like from feet going up becomes more and more ethereal. I guess it is time for me to wake up. Take care of your family that you have found and trust them.
And you as well, my son.
Act with thinking and with heart, but trust that they will be there as well as you.
And before he's gone, another hug.
As the vision dissipates, the two of you are hugging, and then he's no longer there.
Well, that was awful. But I suppose I should check on the others. Then he heads to the ladder.
Does he climb down, or does he do the slide down thing?
Oh, he slides. Unless you're going to make me roll for it, then he climbs down very, very carefully.
No, I'm not going to make it roll for that. And you do find a dropped force pike. I keep saying that. You see Khesh's staff lying on the floor in a place that had been completely deluged, but now, because of the work that you did, it's now dry and safe enough to pick up.
Well, this will be wanted somewhere. He gathers it unto himself, and is the not mouse droid still around?
Yes.
I'm coming. Just tidying up a little on the way.
The tech droid is essentially bouncing from side to side on the repulsors and going up until the stairs and then coming back to you. Sort of doing that, not exactly fast, but somewhat like they're impatient as they go back and forth.
Do you know, technically you didn't need to wait for me. You can get around this place yourself, I think.
Then it continues on, because there's the stairs that come down into a hallway that goes in two different directions.
Mm-hmm.
One is to the generator station where you were, and then another is off in the other direction. And the little mouse droid continues off in that direction, disappearing into the poorly lit hallway.
Am I supposed to follow you? I'm coming. Somewhere. Wherever we are, I'm coming.
I'm figuring at this particular point, is Koba still in the infirmary, or has Koba started to try and explore around the facility?
I think unless the droid is like, this is going to take me a while, Koba's probably going to wait for the droid to do what it's going to do.
At the moment, the medical droid is doing a bit of research and is looking for parts. It thinks at least if it's going to be able to get you a bionic replacement, yeah, it's going to take the droid a bit of time. That you're free to explore, just be careful. Don't try to overexert or damage your leg.
Is Koba's stuff somewhere nearby? Whatever they...
I'm figuring Skipp and them will have moved most of your stuff in.
That sounds logical, yeah.
The rental car is still in the hangar.
Sure.
So stuff might have been left there, but otherwise, I figured that at least some of the stuff would have been moved over. Maybe the droid would have seen to at least try and move some of the more explicitly luggage-type stuff over.
Does Khesh still have Koba's lightsaber?
What would you prefer? I don't know what plans there are for the crystal in it at this point, or what have you. So if you want it to be there, it can be there. She was unconscious anyway.
Did she have any particular reason, or was it just that she probably had it when Koba was unconscious? Because
she picked it up, I believe, when Koba went unconscious, and then had it on her person at the time. I don't think it's been mentioned since then, so it really could be anywhere.
Then yeah, if Khesh doesn't have a reason to have held on to it, I would just assume it being with his other stuff nearby.
Totally makes sense.
Otherwise, he would likely come looking for it. Right now is what would happen.
Okay. Then yeah, I think just have it be there for now. The only, I guess, question mark I had with it was if we had any particular plans for the corrupted crystal within it. Otherwise, I don't care.
I definitely want to explore trying to maybe make or modify a different hilt, but I'll take whatever crystal's available.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like the corrupted crystal.
Yeah, I'm okay for that to be either of our plot point, Brandon. So if you like the corrupted crystal, I say you go for it, and I'll see what comes my way later.
If the droid is like, this prosthetic thing is going to be a thing he's going to have to work on, Koba will collect his lightsaber and other gear, at least whatever wasn't still on his person while being medicined, and slump out of the infirmary and kind of explore nearby. I am happy to incidentally be kind of like, he arbitrarily chooses the direction of the caves. I guess he'd probably check in on if like he walks out the door and Khesh is just kind of in view, or Skipp is just there or whatever. He'd probably check in with them or something rather than strike off on his own. But otherwise,
No, I like the comedic effect of you wander away and then a few minutes later Skipp comes in and is like, all right, so Koba, where does everyone keep going?
yeah, so I guess Koba just kind of starts looking around and decides may as well go over in that direction. That seems like a good direction. Got to pick a place to start, right? So
you head off south, you go past the freshers, which you've been told about, and a bit down this full-out metal corridor, you see the twinkle of rock that's there.
Mm-hmm.
As you make your way through, you find a room with, along a far curved wall, 3 tall doors with points at the top of them, kind of like old school doors with the curved points.
Mm-hmm.
As you're looking around in this room, you can see the old Jedi crest that's on the ground. The entire place is caked in dust. It looks like if someone were to clean, it would be a pretty nice place, but yeah, right now everything is caked in dust. But off to the left-hand side is a lightsaber repair station, and it looks to have bins above and drawers below for pretty much anything that you would need for basic mechanics to maintain a lightsaber or to modify any of the lightsabers that one would have.
Koba's gonna poke around amongst the tools and see, what's what. He has a modicum of mechanical knowledge. Maybe he can kind of reason how this stuff functions. But before settling down to mess with fixing a lightsaber or something like that, he'll probably continue on towards the caves. Having only woken up, a few minutes ago or whatever, he's probably not feeling like this place is safe yet to sit down and commence with some lengthy tinkering.
Koba's been relatively out of it for most of the time here, right?
Yeah.
As Koba steps into the caves, the entire base is slightly humid, but a lot less so than you would expect. In most cases where the station is, it shows off, at least to some degree, that above you is a giant amount of water, that this is on the floor of Moncal or Dak. It's unsurprising that the place is humid, but it's also a lot less humid than you would expect for a just recently dried out cavern. As you're exploring the cavern, it starts off very cave hallway-like. The walls are pretty close to each other. The ceiling is kind of down. The lights are pitoned into the wall with a cable running between them. And then it starts opening up, and you see the last of the light panels in the ceiling. Beyond that is a shimmering light that seems to be coming from cracks in the wall, where it's light enough that you can actually see the path where you're in and see where everything is around you. The pathway itself opens up, and the walkway portion sticks to the wall on the left-hand side, but on the right-hand side it actually opens up, and there's a bit of a crevasse next to it. You can see gems and crystals glittering on the far wall.
Do the crystals give any force sense? Like passively would Koba recognize that these aren't just standard?
Yes, you do feel this as you've stepped further and further in. You feel an energy within the force that each time you pass by a crystal that's next to you, you feel like a little extra fuzz within the force. Not like a distortion, but like a little bit of power within the force.
Okay.
Could I get a average perception check from Koba? And add in anything that you want to.
Koba only has stuff to remove setback from his own perception checks, so.
And there's enough light coming from the crystals that you aren't really getting any environmental setbacks from it.
Yeah. And you said what?
Just an average check.
2 successes and 1 threat.
As you're coming up to a turn on this walkway, and the more you go on, the more you are absolutely certain that this is a shaped walkway. If anything, like something like what Skipp could possibly do on a long-term scale would be to form something like this. It's a shaped walkway. As you make this turn, all of a sudden you turn and they're standing before you in a pose that they're about to drop into some form of combat. They've got a lightsaber out, and there you see Carl. Helmet, shiny black Inquisitor armor, small shoulder cape somehow billowing, standing just before you. You get a bit of a cold chill going through you.
Yeah, Koba draws his lightsaber and ignites it. Fighting stance.
You hear distorted through the mask, You should have stayed down. Carl is going to take a swipe at you.
All right, we're gonna parry it, I guess.
All right. Gets 1 success, 5 advantage on the strike. But the question I've got is, would you be able to parry that?
What's the total damage?
Total damage would be 7.
I can parry some of it. I can bring it down to 4 damage. Would the droid have healed any wounds?
Yeah, the droid will have healed 3 plus 1 for the night. Could I also get a hard discipline check from Koba?
Sure.
This one will, it'll be a 1 red, 2 purple discipline check.
1 success, 2 threat.
So as the lightsaber blade comes and slashes at Koba, Koba's lit lightsaber in his good foot comes up and blocks it. The vision of Carl essentially breaks against the lightsaber. They hit, you get the snap of 2 lightsabers on each other, and then the momentum of the strike seems to stop the blade, but everything else comes at Koba, disintegrating into a bunch of particles.
Mm-hmm.
Comes at Koba with a bunch of dust. And Koba is left with, I'm going to go with 5 strain.
Okay. What about the... So did it do any actual damage?
It did not do any damage.
All right. Between that strain and the strain cost to parry, Koba is breathing a bit hard. He's a bit winded. Looks around frantically, kind of trying to assess if this is some kind of trick. In fact, let's pop a sense. So yeah, I'll just spend a light side pip to sense all living things within short range. Doesn't go very far.
Considering where you are, I'd even pop in a second light side pip. Even if you're to use that to bump that out to medium range, the most you're going to get is Ghillary as they're walking up the stairs. There is no one else living organic here. You get a little bit of the plant / whatever they are above the cave, but there's no one physically here beyond you and the rest of the heroes.
Okay, Koba growls and switches his lightsaber off. How far do these caves go?
It's a relatively extensive cave complex. It's got a few common places where the different paths cross over at different heights. There's even a small, deep cave where the paths all meet up. There's benches and a large kyber crystal in the middle that is taking the place of a campfire / tree. Looks really, really pretty.
All right. Koba has no time for pretty right now. And will, once he reaches the dead end, turn back and head back towards the central area. Certainly with the vision and stuff, he doesn't want to hang around here by himself for too terribly long. Because who knows what might happen.
Fair enough. So, Koba's going back to the common area?
Yeah, Koba's going to double back.
So at that particular point, I'm thinking that chances are for the amount of time that the exploration that Koba's taken and the time Ghillarie's taken to get back up to the common area, that'd be the first time that all 4 of you are meeting up in the substation.
Yeah, I like to think that maybe Khesh and Skipp are bickering on their way back from the refreshers, possibly.
That seems highly likely.
I don't know about what.
Well, I don't understand. How can you clean yourself in total silence?
Well, it's not total silence. There's the sound of scrubbing over scales and things like that, but it requires concentration.
It doesn't require concentration. You're supposed to enjoy the water. And, if it makes you break out in song, that's perfectly okay. And pretty normal.
What even was that song you were singing? Is that the music you kids are listening to these days?
Alright, well, first and foremost, I'm not a kid. And second, it's called The Oyster Man, and it is a classic. Oh, the oyster man has a belly full of sand. Oh, hey, everyone.
What are you talking about?
Oysters?
Hmm?
Did you have a meal?
All right. Have none of you heard this song? It's a classic.
Skipp, darling, I hate to tell you this, but you're really rather young. And I feel as though perhaps your concept of time may be slightly distorted when it comes to music called classics.
Skipp just sort of huffs and does kind of almost this little like puffing out their chest thing. They're sort of straightening their shirt, and it's pretty clear they're trying to draw attention to what they're wearing, which is the stolen Padawan uniform from way back on Tree Planet. They stole off of the office. It was on like a mannequin or something, I think.
Yep.
Yep.
That it was.
It's been balled up in their bag ever since.
So is this your bathrobe, Skipp?
Well, my clothes were kind of a mess, and so I borrowed these from Markov.
Uh-huh.
Right? No, I don't know.
Well, at least now you look the part of a Padawan.
He wasn't using them anymore.
Before your clothes were a mess, I would note, but I'm not going to be fussed.
Well, he does know I took them.
The shower seems like a really good idea.
It felt great. You should do it.
How are the acoustics?
You should try for yourself.
Oh, don't think I won't, my friend. Do we have... Is there a place where we can mend our clothing and find something to wear in the meantime? Because he kind of opens up his jacket and shifts it so you can see the hole in the one area. I'd like to keep this, but it might take some time.
I think all of us, except for now Skipp, are looking rough in that department. So, if you do find something like that, I could also do with a change of clothes.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Heroes of the Hydian Way. You can find show updates on Twitter at The Hydian Way, and you can find me, Ben, on Twitter at Deuteriumice.
You can find me on Twitter at 12th Night. That's 12th and Night with a K.
And I'm on Twitter with a new name, which somebody fortunately put in the doc already, at Ace Picorito. That's the word Ace, and Pikorito.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for being the only one that's changed their names a lot. Not that that's a lot.
I mean, I've done it once. Oh, that's a lot.
Should I know what a picorito
Change
is?
their name at
Nope.
all.
It's not. It's a portmanteau of things.
Okay, I feel better then.
Well, I am consistent as of several episodes ago. You can find me at Wren, like the bird, out of time.
And I am, quite excitingly, the same person I've always been, at Leslet GS.
And we're all at thehydianway.com, where you can find previous episodes.
You can find more episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Plus, you can help us out by rating, reviewing, and subscribing.
We're also on Facebook as The Hydian Way. You can holocom us at heroes@thehydianway.com.
If you like what we do and want to support the show, you can find us at patreon.com/ you guessed it, The Hydian Way. It's hard to make that one exciting.
I was not sure where you were going with that.
It was
but
very dramatic.
You can always send the team some tissues
No.
at ko-fi.com/ you guessed it, The Hydian Way.
Okay, come on. You can steal. You've got the one where you can ad-lib. I come on.
Shh, it's okay. It'll be all right.
It's easy for you to say.
Because we'll always be over here at, you guessed it, The Hydian Way.
Goodbye. It's okay, Koba. You've been passed out for a really long time.
I wasn't ready for this.
You could ask Skipp what you missed while you were out.
Hey, Skipp.
Mm-hmm.
What did I miss?
Oh my gosh. Well,
Khesh, why do you keep talking about these destiny points?
You don't see them. They're floating above our heads at all times.
What?
Is this like the numbers thing? Or is this like a scorekeeper thing?
I mean, number things are scorekeeper things.
But not
What do they
all
look
numbers
like?
are scorekeeper things.
what color's mine?
It's either kind of this like nice pastel green color, or it's this more like salmon color if it's a dark side point. It just flips back and forth. I can't really tell the difference with Koba's. Everything just looks like it's shrouded by rain clouds.
And me?
It's really, really bright and flashy, but pretty easy to tell which is which.
That sounds right. What about yourself? Can you see your own?
Yeah, it just looks like a white disc with this old symbol looking on it. These wing things with this point in the middle, and then otherwise it's black and red with this like starburst.
Ah, like a sunburned penguin.
A what?
What?
Skipp, I think you should have your points checked out. Salmon is not supposed to be green.
I like salmon.
Dantooine salmon is green.
Also, I still want to object. I noticed the number above my head is now down to a 32. I don't know why I keep losing points. But
Maybe it's a countdown. Maybe it's the final countdown.
It's not really how it's supposed to work.
Something to consider as we enter the danger zone. But that's beyond the point.
We're headed for Venus.
I don't see any height.
And this is farewell. I think. I don't remember the words of the song.
What are you doing now?
What are you doing?
Well, Leslie said danger zone, and the song is, Highway to the
No,
Danger
I was still on Final Countdown.
Oh, we moved on.
I was busy thinking about playing a magician character in a Star Wars RPG.
I mean,
I don't know why that's fair enough.
You could be my Chevin hypnotist. I would say always good to draw a crowd, but Chevin hit and miss with crowds. Anywho.
And there is sort of a balled up bunch. Whoa. I have a train. Somebody else wants to talk.
Do you have a toy train in your bag?
Presumably. I guess that was a quick train. That's like a passenger train. Okay.
Continue then.
And
I was going to try and do Yoda. It just isn't working.
Yeah, that's okay. You can
I
always
cannot just
go in a
freestyle
different-
Yoda.
can always just go in a different direction.
Freestyle Yoda sounds like a kind of Star Wars nerd rap battle.
I mean, that
Just
would be
like
pretty
doing-
good.
Yoda, my name is. Here to say I am.
Two Padawans approach. One Jedi leaves.
Yeah, so Leslie's question about uncorrupting a crystal. If we have an explicit way that we know of to do that or something, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I don't think Koba would know the difference, right? But I don't recall. Do any of our characters know this crystal is corrupted?
Not explicitly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure Khesh and Koba feel a certain degree of, like, dark side negativity coming off of it because of it giving a dark side pip, but...
Yeah. Beyond it having the dark side property to it, I don't really think, or that was horrible speaking. It doesn't make any sense that anyone would know explicitly about how to cleanse it. There may be,
or
like,
if there's any reason to cleanse it at all, right?
Yeah.
Like, we don't have a lot of point of reference to be like, normal lightsaber crystals aren't like this.
Yeah, like, if someone were wanting to attempt to remove the dark side influence of it, yeah, that totally is a thing.
So was there like an old 8-track of this song in the pocket? No?
Well, at least you...
Wait, was that Koba or Brandon?
No, that was Brandon.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's
I was confused.
Clearly, it's a laser disc.
In a pocket, though?
I don't make
big
the rules.
pockets.
Look, those Padawan robes, very roomy.
It's an obscure Jedi weapon.
No, my clothes were pretty messy, and I stole this from Martok. I mean, I borrowed it. Was that name right? What was his name?
Markov?
Markov. I've
It
been
was
watching
close.
a lot of Star Trek. I was like, yeah, that sounds right.
He's gone through like 3 seasons of DS9 in the last 24 hours. That's not an exaggeration.
I wish it was Martok's Jedi robes. That would be great.
Yeah, right?
See,
Alright,
I didn't hear that. I heard
I can
Bartok.
say that over. Hold on.
I'm gonna...
I heard this.
No,
All
my
right, then how hard is it to craft a light batleth hilt?
Okay, that does sound kind of hard.
That sounds kind of awesome.
I mean, yeah. More awesome than a light whip, so... But tricky. Actually,
well,
not silly tricky. Like, hard. Maybe fun. Maybe daunting.
I don't like the way you keep going up.
Not formidable.
Oh my gosh, is that real?
It's like an STO screenshot, so...
Yeah, it is something the internet provided. Because I'm like, we can't be the first people to have thought of this.
We can't be the first
yeah.
people who said lightsaber batleth. No.
It's not canonical, but I don't doubt that it exists in STO.
Yeah.
I may
that
be
is-
the first person that confused Markov for Martok.
Very cool. The lightsaber batleth, not the confusion. That's just confusion.